You can listen to any episode of Football for Kids without the adverts by listening on Patreon or via Apple Podcast subscription.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
To the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees, and welcome to part 2 on this incredible journey of Ollie Watkins, the legend of England and of course Aston Villa. In part 1, we learned that Ollie grew up in Newton Abbot in the southwest of England, raised by his hard-working mum and of course his supportive dad as well. His football journey did not begin with a big academy plan, but with a simple question from a friend. And that friend said to him, "Would you like to come training with me?" Or words to that effect. Ollie grew up playing with future pros at South Dartmoor Community College, but his early trials at Exeter City were tough. At 9, he was not ready for academy life, so his parents wisely kept him in grassroots football. By the end of part 1, Ollie had hit a metaphorical wall. He spent nearly 2 years stuck in the reserves. He was waiting for his chance. Bigger clubs looked, hesitated, and then walked away. But staying at Exeter City meant learning the realities of men's football, the battles and everything else which went with it. So, we pick up the story right at the edge of his breakthrough. After years of waiting, working and wondering, Ollie Watkins' story was about to collide with a very unusual coach. His name was Paul Tisdale, and he was not your ordinary football manager. While most managers stomped around in a dodgy tracksuit, Tisdale became famous as the most fashionable man in football. He wore smart coats, stylish hats, and he looked like he had stepped out of a magazine rather than a dugout. But his real brilliance was not his wardrobe, it was the way he saw players. Players like Ollie. Tisdale looked at Ollie and did not just see pace or potential, he saw a whole puzzle that needed putting together. He believed Ollie needed rebuilding from the ground up, not just in football skills, but in confidence, in discipline and in understanding as well. Tisdale treated him like a bit of a project, but a positive one. He was someone to guide, to shape and support, not push or panic, and soon enough the toughest test of Ollie's young career would appear. By the end of the 2014-15 season, Ollie was 18 years old and stuck on the outside looking in. He had scored loads of goals for the under-18s team at Exeter City, but everyone knows youth football is very different from, well, let's call it the real thing. To grow stronger, braver and smarter, Tisdale and Exeter made a bold choice. They sent him out on loan. Not anywhere though. They sent him on loan to Weston Supermare in the Conference South, the 6th tier of English football. This, trust me, was no way near glamorous. This was not a fancy stadium or anything like a Premier League pitch. This was proper muddy grounds, tiny dressing rooms and crowds who shouted everything which they wanted, and they shouted it very loudly. It was a place where players battled for win bonuses that helped to pay for their bills, not fancy cars or suits. It was a place where academy kids either grew up fast or, well, disappeared altogether. Ollie Watkins later said that going on loan to Weston playing men's football was the best thing he did, and he meant it, because nothing in his football life had prepared him for what may come next. Weston Supermare opened Ollie's eyes immediately. Suddenly, he was playing against fully grown men, stronger and craftier than anything he'd ever faced before in his entire life. Older defenders did not care how fast he was. They tugged his shirt, bumped him, fouled him, pushed him around and whispered things to try and put him off. If he tried to dribble past them, they were going to let him know that it wasn't acceptable. Even the stadium tested him. Weston Stadium sat barely above sea level on the edge of the Atlantic. On winter days, the wind howled across the pitch like wild animals, and the ground turned heavy and muddy. Games felt like battles. Many young players who were sent to play at this level never made it back, but Ollie learned to fight. He learned to use his body, protect the ball, and stay calm under pressure. Every tackle toughened him. Every challenge sharpened him. Weston-super-Mare would become the fiery test that would shape him into the player the world would soon know. Despite the wild winds, the muddy pitches and the tough tackles at Weston-super-Mare, something incredible happened there. Ollie Watkins did not just survive, he shone brightly. He scored 10 goals in 24 matches. Some reports say it's 25, but we'll go with 24 for this episode. And those goals helped Weston climb out of the relegation zone. He became so important that when Exeter and Weston played a friendly later on, the papers joked that the club should fight for the Ollie Watkins Cup. Ryan Northmore, who was Weston's manager, said it was not just Ollie's goals or skills that impressed him and the other coaching staff, it was his personality, his bravery, his willingness to fight for every inch of space on that muddy football pitch. The loan spell turned him from a talented boy into a proper footballing man. It built the strength and toughness he would one day use in the Premier League. And when Ollie returned to Exeter for the 2015-2016 season, he felt ready to take on the world. Weston-super-Mare had hardened him, and he thought that he might walk straight into the first team back at Exeter City. But Paul Tisdale, the man who had some stylish sleeves, well, just before a pre-season talk, he said something to Ollie which he will never forget. "Well, Ollie, you can come on tour, but only as our left back. Otherwise, you're staying at home, son." For a player who dreamed of scoring goals like Ollie Watkins, setting up chances and playing like his hero Thierry Henry, he was being asked to play in defence, and it couldn't have felt more, well, no. But Ollie did not moan. He did not sulk. He said yes. He learned the job. He worked hard. And that selfless attitude of his earned him huge respect from the manager and his teammates. He showed he would always put the team before himself, and all the great players have been able to do that. Then came the moment Exeter fans still talk about today. It was April 2nd, 2016 to be precise. Exeter City versus Plymouth Argyle, the Devon derby, the biggest and most emotional match in the county. And the game was stuck at 1-1 when the 93rd minute rolled in. Ollie received a pass from a player called David Noble. Then the magic happened. A flick, a step over, two Plymouth defenders left behind. He fired the ball into the top corner. St James's Park exploded. The famous Big Bank Terrace shook with noise. It rumbled like there was a mini earthquake. Ollie revealed that the celebration he did afterwards was inspired by Lukaku and Mbappe. And from that moment on, his confidence lifted like a rocket. He became unstoppable, scoring 4 goals in the final 6 matches of the season. This was no longer a boy finding his way. This was a little bit of a star in the making. In July 2017, Ollie Watkins joined Brentford for around £6 million. The move reunited him with the manager Dean Smith, who had once tried to sign him for Walsall, and somebody who Ollie knew. Smith believed that even though Ollie arrived as a winger, he had everything he needed to become a brilliant centre-forward. He had the pace, the power, the clever runs, and natural eyes for goals. Soon, Ollie became a part of one of the most exciting attacking trios in Championship history, known as BMW. No, not the car, nothing to do with motors at all. It was Saeed Benrahma, Brian Mbeumo, and him, Ollie Watkins. In the first 2 seasons at Brentford, Ollie mostly played out wide, scoring 10 goals in each season. He was impressive, but not yet the main striker. Then, everything changed. Because when you put the work in, you almost always get the results out. When Neil Maupay left for Brighton in 2019, a new manager arrived and he went by the name of Thomas Frank. He made a bold decision. He moved Ollie into the centre and he told him, "Go on then, son, get the ball and do what you want with it." That confidence transformed Ollie Watkins. In the 2019-2020 season, Watkins scored 26 goals in 50 games. He won Championship Player of the Season and became one of the most feared forwards in the whole of the league. His pressing, movement and finishing made him the complete package, and when you're playing like he was, lots of the big dogs had an eye on him. But the season ended with heartbreak. Brentford narrowly missed out on automatic promotion and then lost a playoff final at Wembley after extra time. It was Watkins' second Wembley disappointment, something he'd experienced before. Then came a massive sliding doors moment. Leeds United, they wanted him, however, he wasn't going there. Crystal Palace, they wanted him, however, he wasn't going there. And a team called Aston Villa, they wanted him and he was going there. For one reason, it said, and that is because Dean Smith, the man who he knew, the manager who had believed in him from the beginning. Ollie told him straight, "My goal is to play for England," and his next chapter would begin at Aston Villa. On the 9th of September 2020, Ollie Watkins joined Aston Villa for a club record fee. Many people doubted whether a Championship player could actually shine in a league like the Premier League, but Ollie arrived with huge ambition and the bit between his teeth. Ollie Watkins announced himself on the 4th of October 2020 with a stunning perfect hat-trick in Villa's unbelievable 7-2 win over Liverpool. Left foot, right foot and a header. It was a cracker. Even Jurgen Klopp said afterwards, "Wow, just wow." And Ollie still said he should have scored more. That just shows his mindset. It is not normal, but elite. After spells under different managers, Unai Emery arrived in 2022 and transformed Ollie Watkins even further. He told him to stop drifting wide and to stay between the posts. There were arguments when Ollie was benched, but it was only because both wanted to win. By May 2025, Watkins had become Aston Villa's all-time Premier League top goal scorer and the Premier League playmaker of the season, which is some achievement. He's done some wonderful things at Aston Villa, but Ollie Watkins made his debut for England on the 25th of March 2021. Remember what he said at the start of his Aston Villa journey. He had his eyes on playing for the Three Lions, for the men's national team, and he did in a World Cup qualifier at Wembley Stadium against San Marino. He came on for Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the second half, and with his very first shot on target, he scored. It was a perfect low finish into the bottom corner. After the match, he was almost lost for words. "I'm speechless," he said. "I've dreamt about this day all my life. I manifested it." England manager Gareth Southgate called it a fairy tale, and let's be honest, it truly was. There's one thing thinking about playing for your country, and then actually doing it, and then scoring on your debut. Could it have gone any better? But international football can be harsh, like really harsh. Even though he was in good form, Ollie was left out of the England squad, which was back in the 2022 World Cup for Qatar, with Southgate choosing Callum Wilson at that time. But let's rewind again and go back to a big England moment, because the biggest moment of his England career came in the Euro 2024 semi-final against the Netherlands. The game was tied at 1-1. With time running out, Ollie came on for captain Harry Kane. In the 90th minute, substitute Cole Palmer received the ball. Watkins made the exact type of run that Unai Emery had been drilling into him at Aston Villa. Palmer slid the ball through, just like Palmer does. And, well, Watkins held off a defender, turned sharply and fired the ball into the far corner. England were in the final. Ollie Watkins was a hero for his country. And I think it's fair to say that not only has he secured himself as a bit of a hero for England, but he's definitely become a hero for Aston Villa fans all over the world. And as I record this today, this weekend he'll be making his 200th appearance for Aston Villa. So when you step back and look at the whole story, it doesn't really feel that real, does it? A boy from Newton Abbot, raised in music and love, Overlooked, doubted, told not yet boy more times than most people can bear. He was a boy who hit metaphorical walls, sat on benches, battled with mud, wind, bruises and heartbreak, but never once stopped moving forward. Every single setback shaped him. Every disappointment strengthened him. Every lone spell, every mischance, every moment of doubt became another brick in the road to greatness. He learned resilience from his mum's late night gigs. He learned balance from a family who loved him without pressure. He learned courage on rough non-league pitches where dreams usually die. And he learned belief, deep, quiet belief. The kind that makes you whisper to your teammate, "I'm gonna score, watch." From Weston Supermare to Wembley Stadium. From flicks in a school playground to goals for his country. From being told he wasn't ready to becoming a hero for Aston Villa and England. Ollie Watkins shows everybody listening that greatness is most definitely not a straight line. It's a climb, it's a fight, and it's a heart that refuses to quit. And if he can rise from the edge of the Atlantic Ocean to the roar of Wembley Stadium and major goals and huge moments in global competitions, there's no reason why you can't achieve great things too. So remember, if you know someone who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about the Football for Kids podcast. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly or pitch side, I hope that you enjoy the game. See you next time.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. You need the right person with the right background who can move your business forward. If you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed Sponsored Jobs. With Indeed Sponsored Jobs, your post stands out to quality candidates who actually fit the role. According to Indeed data, 90% are more likely to be hired and trusted by 1.6 million companies. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. Now with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your job get the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/Podcats13. Just go to Indeed.com/Podcats13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Podcats13. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed.